Greetings and salutations. We are jumping into lesson 15 after our test the other day. So, up until now, we've been talking about functions and their domains and ranges. Remember, a domain is the set of all inputs, and the range is the set of all outputs. Okay? Domains, the variable I usually have for domain is x, and the variable I have for range is either y, or sometimes you'll see it expressed as f of x. Okay? Now, sometimes we cannot express a relationship with one function. We need to use a few functions at once. For example, this problem here. Luke was walking up a hill. He started at ground level, and he took 4 minutes to hike 12 feet. So I'm going to underline this sentence in red. I think that's important. After that, he rested for 4 more minutes, and I'm going to underline that in a different color. Now, if he's resting while walking up a hill, that means he's not going up or down. Okay, all right. Then he hiked steadily up the hill to the top, 20 feet above the ground. I'll do that. It took him 7 minutes from when he started hiking again. Keep underlining in blue. I want to see the graph of elevation. I want to see what the graph of elevation versus time will look like. Graph elevation on the vertical y-axis and time on the horizontal x-axis. So I want you to pause the video and do this. See if you can come up with an idea as to what this graph will look like. Okay? All right, now that you've done the graph, I want you to put your pencil down and don't take notes for the rest of this page. I'm going to do this together with you, but I need to change the zoom on this. Okay? So I got my graph here. Now, remember, Luke started this hike at 0 feet. And when it means starting, that's just a fancy way of saying that time equaled 0 minutes. Okay? Now, he took 4 minutes to hike 12 feet. So, what that means is, when time equals 4, well, look at the x-axis here. This is all my minutes right here, right? 10, 20, and 30. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines to get to 10. So that tells me that every line is worth 2 minutes. So to get to 4, I go 1 line is 2, 2 lines is 4. Now, it took him 4 minutes to go up 12 feet. So now, here's 10, and 1 more square is 12. So that's where I'm going to put my first dot. I'm going to put my first dot, and it's going to be red right here. And then I'm going to draw a line between it because he had to get from the bottom to that point, and so he walked up there. Okay? Now, after that, he rested for 4 more minutes, meaning his elevation did not change for 4 minutes. Then he hiked steadily up to the top of the hill, 20 feet above the ground. So the top of the hill is right here. This is the top of the hill, 20 feet. However, it took him 7 minutes from when he started hiking again. So let's count 7 minutes. Well, here's 2, here's 4, here's 6, and then right in the middle is 7. And then up to 20, right there is where I'm going to put a dot. I'm going to put a blue dot right there. So 2, 4, 6, 7, and right there. And then I draw the line from there to there. And then let's just assume that Luke rested after that. What color should I use? I'll use my favorite color, baby turd brown, right there. So he rested after that, okay? That's what your shirt graph should look like, all right? All right, now that's review. That's review, okay? Now I told you I don't want you writing on this, right? I want to see what you guys did here. Now I don't expect you to have colored pencils with you, so I want you to label on the next page. On the next page, I want you to label the 4 sections of this graph. Now this looks exactly like my other graph, except this was baby turd here, but the computer did purple. But I want you to label each section A, B, C, and D, okay? I want you to label those sections, and then I want you to look at these functions, these 4 functions. Well, I don't want to do it in a color though. I want to do this in black. I want you to look at these 4 functions. And I want you to match the equations with A, B, C, or D. So, the thing you need to be mindful of when you do this is that. On each one of these, I have that. And remember, the letter that I'm using for each one of those, look at the letter in here. The letter is X, and X, and X, and X. Okay? So does that talk about domains, or does that talk about ranges? I want your answer right here. Does my X's talk about domains or ranges? That's what I want in the circle right there, okay? And then next, I want you to label each one of these equations A, B, C, or D, okay? And I'll be checking this tomorrow in class. So remember, label these equations A, B, or C, or D. If you think g of x, which is g of x equals 20, over the interval of 15 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 25. If you think that's the red letter A, then I want you to put an A there, okay? And if f of x equals 3 of x, if you think that's b, then I want you to put a b there, okay? If you think h of x is c, I want you to put a c there. And if g of x is d, I would want you to put a d there. Now, just so you know, those aren't the right answers. I want to see if you can come up with the equations or match the equations to the parts on the graph. Okay? That is all. We'll see you tomorrow in class.